Wanted to share with you today. I don't know if it's a tip so much more as a mod, but many of you, probably like me, have flashlights. These are small flashlights you can use out on the trail. They make great ones nowadays that are extremely bright. This is a cheap one right here, but I'm using this as an example. And some of these are quite expensive. And if you've ever set one down out in the leaves, on the ground, you've dropped one as you go to get it out of your pocket or your pouch or whatever the case may be. It's getting dark out, you reach for it, you drop it. That black flashlight can be extremely difficult to find when it's laying on the ground. The lanyard helps a little bit, but once again, as you can imagine, that on the ground can be really difficult. So this one, like I said, is a little cheap. I think this is like a $5 flashlight. It's pretty amazing still. It takes one battery. But what I've done is I have an Olight Baton, which many of you may know is a much more expensive, nicer flashlight. And I've done a little modification to it. And what I've done here is quite simple. It's not the most attractive thing in the world, but I've taken and I've wrapped part of the handle with some orange marking tape. If you're not familiar with marking tape, it's similar to kind of a tougher plumbing tape. It is not sticky at all. So once I wrapped it, I did put a little piece of tape on there, some clear bandaging tape in one little section that holds the wrap on. But you can wrap it tight. As you can see, the texture of the handle still comes through the tape. You can still feel it through the tape, and it's added a considerable amount of color to it. I keep some of this marking tape on me usually anyway in kind of my pouch. I kind of consider it almost a survival gear, but if you decide to go off trail or the trail's getting difficult, you're not sure where to go, you can tear off little pieces of this. It ties onto branches real easy, and you can kind of use it as your own little blaze to get back to where you're going without having to actually carve up a tree or something like that. And you can see it from a pretty good distance, or as it's getting dark. I've also, as you can see on here, I've made just a real simple little snake pattern lanyard that I put on there also. That way if this thing, I do drop it in the leaves, drop it on the ground, whatever the case may be, this gives me plenty of visual to find that. Once again, I don't remember what I paid for this particular light. It might have been around $80 or so. And I really don't want to lose another one out and about. So for whatever it's worth, might not be the most attractive thing. I know the Olight on itself is a very attractive looking flashlight by itself. The orange may detract from that. I don't particularly mind it for this particular purpose. So anyway, that's my little tip, trick, mod, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully that gives some of you an idea.